The following podcast is rated D for dumb. And now, the voices of Harold. This is from episode 257.
Hello, Dave. It's me, your dad here. I told you that I would buy the C-A-N... the can lid fire, you know, the little container for prayer. Oh, you're calling me now. Okay, bye.
And this is the follow-up voicemail I just got Sunday night on September 27th, the night of whatever it is my father was trying to call me about.
Hey, David. This is Dad here. I was calling to see how you're doing. And I hope that you remembered about the candle for the prayer for your mother. That's at 7:30, 7:35 sometime tonight. So please don't forget, please remember to do that and to say a prayer for your mother. Okay? I love you. Bye-bye. Message has been left.
Wow. So much to unfold. So much to unravel. But thank God we have Hal in Philly, because he's going to sing us into that great song available on Bandcamp called Going for a Drive. Let's do it, Hal.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the brooding kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
All right. I am here. You are there. Let's do it. Let's talk about life and pragmatism and all that other good stuff. Are you ready to do that? Yes. I actually caught myself off guard just now. That's not really what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, hey, everybody, how you doing? You ready to dumb it down? You ready to go for a drive? Let's do it. So there you go. Let's do it. We're doing it. It is actually, let me tell you where I'm doing it. I am doing it outside my house. I'm not doing it in my living room, because the last time I did a podcast on a Monday morning, like late Sunday night, early, it's really technically, it's absolutely not even technically. It is Monday morning. It is 1:20 a.m. September 28th. I'm sitting in the Dodge Caravan right outside my house, because I can't do this podcast in my house, because the last time I did it, I sounded incredibly subdued. In fact, somebody commented, subdued Dave. I don't want to be subdued. I want to be free. I want to be able to talk the way I want to talk. So anyway, I'm in the Dodge Caravan. It is raining outside. I don't know if you can hear the drops. I'm not driving. I'm just sitting here in the van. It's total darkness. I can't see a thing. I can't see a thing outside my van. If something hits this van and I hear a noise, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to absolutely freak out. So hopefully nobody comes and knocks. I mean, I'm in the woods, so nobody should be here. But God forbid my wife or my son or anybody, or just something falls from the trees, I'm probably going to poop my pants. So anyway, here we are. So it is not a sunny day. It's a dark, dark night. In fact, there's actually a report that I got that if it was clear skies, I could see the northern lights, the aurora borealis, somewhere between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. So I was actually pretty excited about the fact that I might actually see it from my house, because it's really dark here where I am. There's no city lights, but it's raining, so that's not going to happen. So maybe tomorrow. I think tomorrow's the last day they say we could possibly see it, but it's really neither here or there. If you've never seen the aurora borealis, also known as the northern lights, it's very cool. It's like all these different colors up in the dark sky. You got to look to the north, and I can't explain why it works and how it works. You can look it all up, northern lights and all that other stuff. But I've seen it in the Navy, in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Iceland. So it's dreamy. It's very Pink Floyd-ish. You know, it's very cool, and whatever they call it. It's no, not psychotic. It's anyway. It's whatever the word is from the '60s with Woodstock. It's really cool, man. It's I got the word on the tip of my tongue, but anyway, you know what it is. It's very cool. But also, if you live in somewhere that you're never going to see the aurora borealis, you're never going to see the northern lights, just go on YouTube, and just type it in there. And what it looks like on YouTube is exactly what it looks like in the sky. Yeah, it's cool when you see it live, but I wouldn't spend a lot of money to get on a boat and go to the north of the Arctic Circle to look for it. I mean, you could go on vacation to Iceland when this whole COVID thing is over. There is a season for it, and it is cool to see it. Once you've seen it, you can go, wow, that's psychedelic. That's the word. See, I said psychotic because, I'm much closer to that end of the scale of psychosis, but it's more psychedelic. So, it's very psychedelic, all different colors. It has to do with, gases and the sun and reflection and all that stuff. So, but if you can't see it live, go on YouTube. If you have a big screen TV, put it on your big screen TV, shut off all the lights in your house, have a drink, have a smoke of something, and just, it's not exactly hallucinating, but, it's pretty cool. And that's all I can tell you about it. You don't hear it, you see it, and that's it. Okay. I wouldn't sign up for the Navy for 4 years and then get on a boat and hope that you get, north of the Arctic Circle off the coast of Iceland. I just happened to be there, and I was standing watch, and I look up in the sky, and bada boom, there it was. All different colors of the spectrum. Really cool. All right, so here we are. Thank you for tuning in to Dumbing It Down with Dave. I really greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Alex Exum, for the intro, and ALEXEXUM.com. And thank you, Hal and Philly, for that great song, Going for a Drive. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check them out at Bandcamp, bandcamp.com. I was so close to checking him out today. I said I was going to do it, and I had a meeting with my VA, and I forgot to tell her that we have to put the link to Bandcamp and Hal and Philly for that great song, Going for a Drive. We didn't put it in the show notes. We forgot to talk about it. We talked about a million other things. But Hal, I promise we'll get to it, and we'll do it. And I hope you guys are either buying the song for a simple $1. It's a simple $1. Or you can definitely give him more than $1 because he's out of work, because he's a musician, and the COVID-19 has knocked out all his live gigs. So there you go. And it's a great song. All right. And you guys hear it all the time at the top of the show. So let me just remind you of this. All right. I do want to get to listeners' comments. That's why I'm out here in the van. But I had to change. Something happened tonight, and you just heard it. So this is what happened a couple of days ago.
Hello, Dave. It's me, your dad here.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. So that's a woman's voice. That's not my dad. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, for those of you that have been listening to the show for 250 some odd episodes, listen, I have to sort of recap. All right? I'll do it quickly, but there are new people listening all the time. So I got to recap. My father is deaf. My mother is deaf too, but now she's deaf and she's dead. She's no longer alive, which actually plays into this show. She passed on April 18th of 2020, okay? So, after suffering a stroke, okay. Anyway, her cause of death on the death certificate, I think, says COVID or partial COVID. I don't know how you could partially die of COVID. I don't really know. I don't have a copy of the death certificate. I'm supposed to have one, but I don't have one just yet. I'm not really looking forward to receiving one. It makes no difference to me. I no longer have power of attorney in my family. So whatever happens from here on in is not my responsibility. I've done everything I could, and that's another story. It's another podcast that I hope I never do. Okay, so anyway, dad's deaf, mom is deaf, and now she's deceased. So my father calls me out of the blue, not to tell me how much he loves me, not to tell me how much he misses me, not to tell me how much he wants to have a catch with me, because even though he loves baseball, in 57 years, he's never thrown a baseball at me. Not with any intent of me catching it and loving me. Maybe because, he wanted to knock my head off. But that's not true. He wasn't violent in that way. He was violent in a different way. Not to tell me that he regrets not spending more time with me. Not to call me and say, hey, remember all those times I promised you I'd take you to the races and I never did? I feel bad for that. Let's do that. Not to apologize for not taking me to wrestling to see Bruno Sammartino on a Monday night at Madison Square Garden. Not to say anything of any term of endearment, and to thank me for all my help for his business over the last 57 years and keeping my mouth shut, because that's what he would tell me. Don't tell anybody what I do, whatever, for whatever reason. Okay, we don't need to discuss that. He calls me to tell me he wants me to light a candle, which is a Jewish thing that you do. Whatever. Non-Jewish people do it as well. But it's Yom-Kippur. There's 2 high holidays at this time of year. There's Rosh Hashanah, which is basically the Jewish New Year, basically. And I am not an expert on Judaism or religion or holidays or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you a quick recap to give you an idea of why we're doing this show. Yeah, and it's pretty apparent. I'm probably not going to get to listeners' comments. Or my Month of Hell Part 3, which I really want to close up. But we'll get to it, I promise you. And by the way, Dale, if you're listening, I really appreciate you listening, and thank you very much for reminding me. I know you haven't been commenting at all. You haven't been doing anything at all. But you do listen, you say, so I appreciate it. Fellow truck driver, Dale. Thank you, Dale. I really appreciate it. And while I'm at it, thank you to Mile High Radio. It's been so long since I thanked Lynn and Bobby at Mile High Radio, milehigh.hi-radio.com. They've been with us for a long time. So thank you very much, Lynn and Bobby. milehigh.hi-radio.com. Make sure you spell it right, because otherwise you're going to get something else. And thanks to Pat Morrow at Crooked River Radio for also airing my show on Sunday nights. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, maybe 9 p.m. Eastern. Anyway, so whatever. Okay. And Mile High airs my show on Monday mornings at... Jeez, it's been so long since I've done this promo, I forgot. I think it's 9 a.m. It could be 10 a.m. It doesn't matter. Look for it. It's up there. Okay, anyway, we'll try to put it in the show notes, but if we don't, we don't. So anyway, my father calls me out of the blue, and he wants me to light a candle. That's what he wants me to do. That's the phone call. He takes his time out to call me to light a candle for his deceased wife. All right? But he's never taken a phone call out, the time to make a phone call to say, hey, we should be doing something, father and son. How come we don't do anything, father and son? No. He calls me for his business. He used to drive 4 hours to my house from Brooklyn, New York, because he had me to help him with his business. And I've been saying for years, he only addresses me because I'm Mr. Google, right? I am Mr. Google, M-R period Google. I can help you find things. I'm like that guy from Shawshank Redemption. I'm Red. I can get you things. I'm pretty resourceful. Anyway, and I'm ridiculously dutiful to my parents. I shouldn't be. I don't want to be, but I am. And I hope God forgives me. And I hope when I go, whatever happens to me when my body's over, I hope that I've made up for my sins. Or I hope it just cancels out. I don't have to go to heaven. I don't think I want to go to hell, unless they play a lot of Black Sabbath and, heavy metal, which I like. Probably too loud for my own good. So maybe I should be careful what I wish for. So I probably should want to wish for heaven, right? If you believe in any of that stuff. I don't know if I believe in any of that stuff. I think I'm just going to go into the ground, turn into, worm, whatever, poop, and then I'll come out as a cucumber. Whatever. I don't know. I'll come back into life as a vegetable. It doesn't really matter. Okay, neither here or there. But my father calls me out of the blue. All right? And he calls me through an interpreter. So he can't talk to me because he's deaf. He can't hear me because he's deaf, but he calls from his den through his television and hits a button or two, and bammo, somebody, usually a woman, 99% of the time, 99% of the time a woman shows up on the screen. He sees her, she sees him, he signs to her, and from what I understand from my sister, my 2-year-old sister, 2 years older than me, my father is a very good signer. Not an excellent signer, but good enough. Good enough to carry on a conversation with anybody. Yet every time he talks to these interpreters, they don't seem to understand a word he's saying. And I've been told by many people in the what I am as a CODA, child of a deaf adult, CODA. I've been told by many people in the CODA organization that these interpreters are horrible. These people are not CODAs like me that become interpreters. They're people like general people of the population that think it would be really cool to learn an alternative language other than the language they speak, which for the most part is English, and then they decide to learn sign language because they think that that's something that they can do. And then this organization must be so hard up for employees, just like my industry is trucking. We're very hard up for truckers, but we don't hire quality all the time. We hire who's next, who's on the top of the pile. We do the interviews, and if they absolutely meet a minimum criteria, we hire them in trucking. We're not selective, not my company. Maybe this new company that I work for, because we just got bought. So the other company I work for filed Chapter 11. Maybe this company will hire better employees. I doubt it, because there's a massive shortage. It wasn't too long ago we were down like 30,000 truckers across the United States of America. Okay, I've done shows about that. I'm not going to do it again. But anyway, I am suspect. We are all suspect of the quality of interpreters at this company that my father uses to call me. Okay, so that all plays in. My mother is deaf, my father is deaf, but my mother is now deaf and deceased. And now all of a sudden, my father calls me out of the blue, and he wants to execute some sort of Judaism in our lives, because out of respect for his wife, his formerly alive wife, and my formerly alive mom. So understand also, we are not a practicing Jewish family. We've never kept kosher. We've only done the high holidays, rosh-hashanah, yom-kippur, and I think Passover. We don't go to temple on any regular basis. We don't dress the part. We don't talk the part. We don't live the part. It's all fake and phony. It's just a couple of times a year, which, by the way, I understand many Christians do as well. Do they call that hypocritical religion or what, hypocrisy? I don't care what you call it. I'm just trying to give you, as the best as I can, the background of why this irks me so much. Also understand, I guess you can guess by now, my father and I just don't exactly have this Bill Bixby and young Brandon Cruz, can't believe I remember his name, Bill Bixby and Brandon Cruz from the Courtship of Eddie's Father relationship. We don't have an Andy Griffith and, Ron Howard, Andy and Opie father and son relationship. We don't even have the Dick Van Patten and Willie Ames from Eight is Enough relationship. We don't have any relationship, except for the fact when he needs me, he calls me. And when he needs me, he drives up here. He used to drive up here before the COVID. 4 hours he'd drive up here. Not to see me, because I can do things for him. I can make things happen. And believe me, it wasn't easy doing what he wanted me to do. And it took up a lot of my time. And for anybody who listens to the show on a regular basis, I don't have that time. That's why I'm doing this podcast at 1:30 in the morning in my van, because I had quite a weekend. And I didn't really have time to fit in a podcast. And when I do my podcast, Dumbing It Down with Dave, Pragmatism, Truth, Happiness, and the Search for It All, is usually done in my car, whatever car I'm driving, to and from work. It's usually the Kia Rio, or it could be the Dodge Caravan. I have 2 vehicles now. So I've been doing this podcast for almost 5 years this February. All of it on Spreaker, and I do it on the New York State Thruway 99.9% of the time. Out of my 258 podcasts, including this one, I do it on the Thruway because I have no free time. So understand that when my father comes and dumps stuff in my lap that he wants me to do for him, I'm now not doing anything I never get to do, but now I'm only doing what he wants me to do. Okay, so there is resentment and there's anger. Okay, 57 years old, you think I'd be over it by now, but I'm not. Okay, so then he calls me with this. And listen to the ineptitude of this, is that the word? Yeah, the ineptitude. Listen to this interpreter trying to figure out what my father's saying. According to my sister, by the way, I haven't spoken to my father in a long time. The last time I saw him was at my mother's funeral, which was, I think, back in late April, early May of 2020. But she told me the problem is not with him. And she's an interpreter, by the way. But she doesn't do this phone thing. She does it, face-to-face. She does everything live. And she told me, no, Dad knows sign language. The problem you're having is with interpreters. Okay, let's go. Listen to the ineptitude. Listen to the struggle. And the biggest problem with this voicemail, this Voices of Harold voicemail, is that I called him back so quickly that I interrupted this call. And if I didn't interrupt this call, it would have been the greatest voicemail of all the voicemails I've been playing. And even all the ones I never saved, because I could have had thousands of these over the last, 5 years or so. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of these. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that I was going to be doing a podcast. And I never thought anybody would be interested in the Voices of Harold. All right, here we go. Listen.
Hello, Dave. It's me, your dad here.
All right, good start.
I told you that I would buy the CANIL, the cam lid fire, the little container for prayer. Oh, you're calling me now. Okay, bye.
Oh, God. And if my father already had bought one, I'm surprised he didn't have it in his hand to show the lady. But whatever. Okay. That might be on him. But it's on her to not understand CANDLE, candle. I mean, I think my father knows how to spell candle. But if I was my dad, I'd have it in my hand. I'd show him. Okay. Anyway, he's done that before, where he just picks up something and he shows it to the person. Say, this. Whatever the sign is for this. Okay. Anyway. So then tonight, and by the way, I called him back, whatever. I've spoken to him since, and I called him and whatever today. I said, hey, Dad, just want to let you know, whatever. I got this under control. Okay, so this is his return message. This is his message to me after that other voicemail. Anyway.
Hey, David.
By the way, does that sound angry to you? That sounds angry to me. I mean, this is what I got to hear. I don't know if the interpreter's doing that because, by the way, you either interpret verbatim, which apparently according to my sister, I can say, listen, don't filter verbatim. Or what happens a lot is they filter and they interpret whatever with their twist. So they'll say the word cool, even though my father doesn't say cool. Or they'll say far out, or they'll say fabulous. But so I can tell you right now, in the 57 years I've known my father, whose name is Harold, all right? It's not Jordan. It's not, any fancy schmancy name. My father's name is Harold, born in the 30s or 40s, whatever he is, 80 years old. So, yeah, he's in the 40s, born in the 40s. He doesn't know the word fabulous. He doesn't know the word cool. You understand? I'm just telling he doesn't do slang. My father doesn't do, let's just put it that way. He doesn't do slang. My father doesn't do creative. He has a limited vocabulary. All right, go.
Hey, David.
So angry. You hear that? Sounds angry. Is he angry? I don't know. But the interpreter's giving me the impression that he's angry at me. Okay, let's go.
Hey, David. This is Dad here. I was calling to see how you're doing. And I hope that you remembered about the candle for the prayer for your mother. That's at 7:30, 7:35 sometime tonight. So please don't forget, please remember to do that and to say a prayer for your mother. Okay? I love you. Bye-bye. Message has been left in silence.
Okay. So, not the phone call that I've been waiting for 57 years. Hey, Dave, we really should do some father and son stuff. Do you think I could come up and stay overnight or something? Hey, do you think we could? No, there's none of that. Do this for me. Do this for Mom. So, by the way, I bought a candle. I'll give you a little bit of an update because I blew it again because he called me after this and I picked up the phone. And, like 5 or 6 minutes before I had my meeting tonight with my VA in the Philippines. I should have just let it go to voicemail. But I called him earlier today and said, Dad, I want you to know I went to Walmart. I bought 4 candles. One for Mom, one for his mother, my grandmother Frida, one for his father, my grandfather Bill, and one for everybody else in the world that's deceased. My mother's mother, my mother's father, my whole mother's side of the family, which I'm not close with at all. And also my wife's father, who passed away about a year ago, I think yesterday or today. And, just everybody else. A candle. That's 4 candles, which, by the way, it's like you go to Walmart, it's like 80 cents a candle. I didn't realize it was that cheap. And these things burn for 24 hours. And so just about a half hour ago, my wife and I were at the kitchen table. These things are burnt. So my father said 7:30, 7:35, sunset. Everybody knows. In the Jewish religion, everything happens at sunset. Everything begins and ends. Every holiday begins and ends at sunset. I can't speak for any other holiday. Nothing, I don't know. Some holidays begin at midnight. I have no idea. In the Jewish religion, everything starts at sunset. Everything begins and ends at sunset. That's all he had to say. He's like, 7:35. Listen, and by the way, Saugerty's sunset is different from New York City's sunset. Just because we're all in the Eastern time zone doesn't mean the sunset's the same. It's different. I'm a different line of longitude. No, excuse me. I'm at a different line of latitude. I'm much further north. So sunset is different here. It doesn't matter. It's sunset. That's all he had to say. He didn't say that. He fumbled around with the time. Okay, I don't care. That doesn't make me angry. It's just that it's so interesting that he wants me to remember. It's so important that all of a sudden, after 57 years, I have to practice some sort of high holiday of Judaism because my mother's passed away. And some of you might go, Dave, you're really insensitive. Your father only has this little wish. Well, I did it. I went and bought 4 candles. Oh, now I know I was explaining. So he called me back after I told him what I did with the 4 candles. He said, why'd you do that? You only need 1 candle. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, Dad. Okay. And he said, yeah, because of the smell and all that stuff. Which, by the way, my father should know this because, for 57 years, I've never had a sense of smell. I'm like basically deaf and blind in my nose. I have no sense of smell. I can sense that there's aerosol propellants in the air. If somebody sprays something, I sense that there's aerosol, but I can't smell cookies. I can't smell bread. I don't smell dirty socks and stinky feet and farts. I don't smell anything. I can't smell. 0. Noxious fumes, whatever. 0. Poop, 0. Dirty animals, stinky, wet fur, 0. Musk, mold, 0. Old Spice, 0. No smell. But he knows that. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he forgot it. Or maybe he just doesn't care. Or maybe he doesn't know me. That's what I think. All right, so I can't smell. And he's all concerned about the odor. Anyway, so I bought 4. I lit all 4. I did talk to God for a little bit. Say, here we go. And then, so that was about 7:35. So about a half hour ago, my wife went to bed and I came in here to do this podcast. I'm not going to let these things burn all night. It's ridiculous. I blew them all out. So I got 4 hours out of them. I'll put them away. And guess what? Next year, I saved myself $3.24. Whatever it is. I mean, I don't need to save the money, but these things will last me a lifetime, I guess. But I'm not going to do this forever. I have no intention of making this a tradition. But chances are my father will call me next year. And he'll, again, not call me to say, hey, you know what? I just remembered, we've never thrown a baseball at each other. Not with love. And so I'm going to come up, we'll go to Dick's and I'll buy myself a glove. And you have a glove? Yeah, I have a glove, Dad. I had a glove for 57 years. I've been waiting for you to say something. Oh, yeah. And we never rode bikes together either, Dad, did we? Yeah, we never rode bikes. Hey, we never took a walk in the park together. No, we never did that. Hey, we never really do anything, do we? Except go to these car shows, right? That you always wanted to go to. That's right, son. We always went to car shows because I wanted to do it. All right, Dad. So, maybe we could find other things to do that I like to do too. Maybe he'll do a podcast with me. We need more deaf people in the podcast world. I'm telling you, it's an untapped community. All right. Well, that's what I hear. So anyway, so that's it. Those are my 2 voicemails from my father, 2 voices of Harold. Like I said, I really want to do listeners' comments and catch up, but I couldn't resist. I didn't think I was going to do a part 2. The Voices of Harold Part 2, which is probably going to be the name of the title because I'm too tired to create something different. But that's it. That's my relationship. How's your relationship with your parents? Do you get these wacky phone calls? For those of you who don't have deaf parents, do they use you? Are you being used by your parents? Do you get used and abused? Have you done things for your parents that you go, why am I doing this for you? You could do this yourself. What is your relationship with your dad? Oh, by the way, let me do this. Since we're not going to do, let me do this real quickly. Let's do this. Let me just, I'm going to blow this. Do I have this? Yeah. If you have something to say about this episode, you don't want to leave a comment, don't forget to call the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. That's 3477-I-AM-DUMB. The letter I-M-D-U-M-B. Or 347-746-3862. That number again is 347-746-3862. Please leave a voicemail and I'll play it keep it 60 seconds or less and definitely keep it clean. Any profanity, I will not play it at all. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed the show, guys. I enjoyed doing it. What do you think, Hal? Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance. Good rats, Godspeed. And great skills. Take care. All right, guys, take care. Be safe out there. Be healthy.